And we're off in the Haines Cup race between Harvard and Navy. First varsity, Crimson looking for a 7th consecutive win. Toward pace for Navy out of the chute, stroking at 47 on the first few. Harvard trying to be a bit more efficient with its strokes again, just like in second varsity. They're off to a 44-stroke clip, but they've stayed neck and neck with Navy, even with that red-hot start for the mids. Young varsity 8 boats for both sides. 5 freshmen for Harvard. The midshipmen, under their head coach Sean Bagnell, have 2 freshmen in their first varsity 8 boat and just 2 seniors. Harvard with just the 1 senior, Captain Alexander Bo Norris, the varsity really elder statesman for the Crimson to lead the way in the stroke seat. Well, after losses to Delaware and Cornell, the Crimson have really turned it on with the wins over Penn and Georgetown and the sweep last week in the Big Lynn Bowl. They have Yale and Princeton next week in the Goldwit Cup as they look to keep the Haines Cup here for the 7th straight season. At first varsity last year, it was a 3-second win for Harvard against Navy. They were neck and neck till the final couple of 100 meters. Navy has settled into a nice rhythm at about 37 strokes a minute. Harvard right there with them at 36 strokes per minute. Again, just like second varsity, Crimson being a bit more efficient, taking less strokes to go the same speed as the midshipmen. Right now, the Harvard boat is so clean, very technically sound. Hardly any splash at all. A little bit more splash from Navy, but they're pretty solid as well. Midshipmen ranked 9th, Harvard ranked 5th in the most recent polls. It'll be a second half race here as at the midway point. Maybe a 1-seat lead for Harvard. Harvard stroking at 37. Navy stroking at 36. And again, with Harvard being slightly more efficient so far with its strokes, now that they've upped the stroke rate a bit on the mids, Harvard has stretched its lead to 2 seats. Still so close between Harvard and Navy. Got about 700 meters to go. Bring it past the BU boathouse with the Crimson looking at a 3-seat lead. Haines Cup on the line. Final 500 meters coming. Midshipmen looking for their first win against a top 10 team this year. They have lost to number 2, 3, and 6 in the country. They'd love to scalp the number 5 squad. Into that final quarter, Harvard at about a 4-seat lead, and it's holding steady. Navy still sitting solid at 37 strokes a minute. Haven't really upped their rate much. Harvard's clipped up the cadence just a bit, 38 strokes per minute. It's been a smooth run for the Crimson as their lead has inched out. They're up to 5 seats. About 200 meters to go. After a slow start to the season, this would be a second straight dominating weekend for First Varsity at lightweight crew. And some more hardware for the boathouse. Inside the final 100 meters, Harvard stretched its lead out to the full 8 seats. Maybe 6 more strokes for Harvard to the finish line. For the 7th consecutive year. Harvard takes the Haines Cup. And it's a 5-second win over the midshipmen. Now, slow start to the day for Harvard, but they win the 2 biggest races. Second varsity, first varsity end up with the Crimson, and the Haines Cup is coming back to the boathouse for Harvard.
Sorry about the ripple. I had to follow the race.
Really strong performance from that Crimson vote, as it seems like Coach Bartman has started to find the combinations in those first, second, and third varsity boats as he's mixed the freshmen in. Big win against MIT last week, an even larger win here against 9th-ranked Navy. Harvard takes the Haines Cup for a 7th straight year. They're now 42-7 all-time against Navy. So I'll run you through the results from start to finish again today. Navy took the 5th varsity by about 15 seconds, the 4th varsity by 7 seconds, and the 3rd varsity by 6 seconds. But then Harvard came back, got a 10-second win at 2nd varsity, and unofficially a 5-second win here at 1st varsity. So Harvard beats Navy. Crimson go to 5-2 on the year on that 1st varsity boat. And for the 2nd straight week, they take home a trophy, or really keep a trophy that they've had possession of. Big Lynn Bowl last week, Haines Cup this week, and now next week they'll head down to Yale, take on Yale and Princeton in their biggest rivalry week of the season, the Goldweight Cup, which will be their last regular season race. As they'll have a couple weeks off after that before the Eastern Sprints in Worcester. Well, the Crimson get the win here on the Charles today, beating Navy in 2nd varsity and 1st varsity to move to 5-2 on the year. For the crew here on the Charles River, Bill Spalding signing off. Thanks so much for joining us. Harvard keeps the Haines Cup. Alrighty. Yep. We're good. Tidy 45-minute broadcast.